Everyone knows Bruno Mars the performer, but almost nobody knows the real story behind the man. The kid who was already a seasoned entertainer before most children lost their baby teeth. The teenager who slept in abandoned animal enclosures. The man who let a gambling habit swallow everything he built. Now at 39, Bruno decided the world deserved the full picture. Not just the dead headlines, not just the mystery surrounding his relationship with Jessica, but the childhood that shaped him, the addiction that nearly derailed him, and the family secret he's carried quietly for decades. Bruno Mars was 4 years old when his life as a performer began. While other kids were figuring out how to tie their shoes, he was already doing 2 shows a night, 5 days a week. His family ran a musical act in Waikiki, Hawaii, and little Bruno was their star. They dressed him in a tiny glittering jumpsuit and called him Little Elvis, because his moves looked like he'd been studying Presley in another life. By 5, he was performing in front of 40,000 people at a major halftime show. By 6, he was on national television. He even landed a small role in a 1992 film, earning $600 for a single day of work, which he later joked was his first Vegas residency. Before his 10th birthday, he had already stepped onto a stage nearly 1,000 times. Years later, when rehearsing for the Super Bowl halftime show, he told his crew it felt like recess. When Bruno was 12, his parents divorced and the family act dissolved. The stage lights went dark, and so did the money. For months, Bruno, his father, and his brother lived wherever they could find shelter, sometimes in a car, sometimes on rooftops, and once in an abandoned bird zoo where peacocks screamed through the night. Without running water, they snuck into hotel pools just to clean up. Dinner was often convenience store food. For 5 months, they had no electricity, and Bruno practiced guitar by moonlight. At school, classmates mocked his thrift store clothes, but he kept pushing. He earned $75 a night impersonating Michael Jackson at local venues, saving every dollar for demo recordings and bus fare. That period of survival didn't break him. It built a kind of grit that no music school could ever teach. In 2003, music labels heard his demos and told him he should become the next big Latin pop star. Bruno had no interest in becoming someone else's idea of what an artist should be. He constructed a new identity instead. The name Bruno came from his memory of wrestler Bruno Sammartino, a man who took punishment and kept standing. Mars came from something simpler. A girl once told him he was so confident he must be from another planet. In June 2003, at 18 years old, he stepped off a plane in Los Angeles with $600, 3 demo CDs, and his new name written on a luggage tag. To survive that first year, he talked his way into a DJ job despite never touching equipment before, got fired after 2 nights, shared a cramped apartment with 6 other men, and went entire weeks eating nothing but cheap fast food tacos. Motown Records signed him in early 2004, then dropped him 9 months later without releasing a single song. He had already told his family back home that he had made it. That humiliation turned out to be a gift, because another artist dropped by the label at the same time was Philip Lawrence. The two made a pact to write music so undeniable that no label could turn it away. By 2006, they were broke but relentless, writing songs in the back of Philip's aging Toyota Corolla parked outside a small Hollywood studio. They studied more than 1,000 hit songs before releasing one of their own. Eventually, they co-wrote massive hits for other artists, and by the time Bruno released his own debut single in 2010, songs he had written had already sold over 15 million downloads for other people. His solo arrival was historic. His debut album went 7 times platinum in the United States and spent nearly 8 consecutive years on the UK albums chart, longer than some of the most celebrated records in music history. His first 2 singles each certified over 5 million times in American sales, a level only one other artist had reached before him. The Grammy nominations came in historic waves. He won Best Male Pop Vocal Performance and became the youngest male recipient of that award in decades. Billboard named him their top artist. The Global Music Federation called him the best-selling artist of 2011. He followed it all with a second album that blended 9 different genres despite label warnings that radio would never play something so scattered. It sold 6 million copies worldwide within a year. Then came a collaboration with producer Mark Ronson that produced one of the longest-running #1 songs of the entire decade, a track so omnipresent that a major airline reportedly saw a significant spike in drink orders the month they used it as their boarding music. His 24K Magic album swept 6 Grammy Awards in a single night, and the world tour that followed grossed nearly $370 million across 215 shows. His side project Silk Sonic produced a song that accumulated over 2 billion streams and swept the Grammy categories of record, song, and performance in the same year. A collaboration with Lady Gaga in 2024 broke single-day streaming records and generated nearly $1 million per day in publishing revenue at its commercial peak. A follow-up duet with a globally recognized K-pop artist entered the charts at number 3 and eventually crossed 3 billion streams. Behind all of it was a relationship most people barely knew existed. Bruno met Jessica Caban in 2011 at a hotel restaurant in New York. They reportedly locked eyes across the room for 40 minutes before he walked over, and they talked until 2 in the morning. Within a year, she had moved across the country to be with him. For over a decade, she appeared on almost no red carpets and gave almost no interviews. He called her his rock once publicly and changed the subject. Then, in late 2024, anniversary posts disappeared from her social media. He flew to Tokyo alone. She spent the holidays with her family while he performed New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, their first December apart in more than 10 years. A 15-word comment she left on a social media post in January 2025 set the internet on fire. They never confirmed a breakup. They still follow each other. They still co-own the house. The story remains unresolved. In March 2024, a media segment claimed Bruno owed $50 million to a major Las Vegas casino and was performing his residency shows to work off the debt. No named sources were attached. It didn't matter. The story spread everywhere within hours. The casino responded the same day with a direct statement saying he owed them nothing, describing their relationship as built on mutual respect. Their stock price didn't move. Bruno handled it his own way. During a show shortly after, he paused mid-performance and deadpanned to the crowd that ever since the $50 million story broke, his phone had gone completely silent. That clip reached nearly 7 million views in a single day. He kept making the joke publicly, and every time he did, the rumor lost another layer of its power, while millions of people were reminded he was still very much out there performing. From sleeping in a stranger's swimming pool to sweeping Grammy night. From convenience store dinners to 3 billion streams. Bruno Mars has never been just a pop star. He has been a study in survival, and by every measure, he is nowhere near finished.